Hi again, Year 10. Welcome back to Week 5 Online Learning. It's now Lesson 2. The topic this week is El Acoso Escolar, to do with school problems and pressures. And we are going to look first of all at a listening after we've just revised or did recap the objectives. So learning vocab, we did quite a lot of that yesterday, and hopefully you've practiced that and produced a resource to help yourself remember the vocabulary you need. We're going to do some listening, writing and reading tasks today, and we're going to start off with a listening. So there are 5 pictures here. Let's just move myself out of the way of that one. You've got someone obviously who's worried about lots of study to do, maybe sort of pressure exam stress, that type of thing. Here we've got violence in the at school, physical attack maybe. These guys are skipping school, or they're bunking off school, they're not going to classes. Excuse me. And here some peer pressure going on in this picture here, with people maybe being encouraged to do things they shouldn't. So you need to listen carefully, and you're going to be hearing these sorts of things described. See how well, thinking about the vocab you saw yesterday, you can match up the speaker to the picture. Okay, so I need to reduce this so that I can show you, so that this will play. Okay, now let's just let it start.
Módulo 3.
Okay, I'm just going to pause it for a second to say that I will play the sound file. I'm not going to bother pausing it, because you can do that, and you can go back and you can listen to it several times, okay, to make sure you've understood it all. Here you go.
A clase. Unidad 4. El acoso escolar. Página 56. Ejercicio 2. Escucha y escribe la letra correcta del ejercicio 1. 1.
En mi colegio hay muchos problemas que afectan a los estudiantes. Por ejemplo, hay mucha violencia entre los alumnos y todas las semanas hay ataques físicos en el patio.
2.
Para mí, el mayor problema es el estrés de los exámenes. Tenemos que estudiar mucho. Tenemos muchos exámenes y, además, hay que prepararse para muchas presentaciones orales.
3.
Los alumnos sufrimos la presión de grupo. Por ejemplo, hay alumnos que no estudian porque sus amigos no estudian y porque quieren integrarse en el grupo.
4.
Mis amigos Alonso y Ana nunca van a clase. Prefieren ir al parque o al centro comercial. Creo que está mal hacer novillos, porque los estudios son muy importantes.
5.
El fracaso escolar es un problema serio. Es muy difícil sacar buenas notas en todas las asignaturas, y suspender todos los exámenes es muy triste.
Okay, so you have heard that, and you will have had the chance to go back and listen to it several times if you would like to. And you probably want to. You're going to be seeing the transcript in a minute. So to start off with, you need to think about what picture was indicated to you by what they said. So the first one you should have is D. That was the picture of the 2 boys pushing the third boy, and sort of key words were violencia or ataques físicos. Número 2. Number 2, they were talking about picture A. That was the boy who was studying a lot, and obviously feeling the maybe the stress of exams. Número 3 was B. Now picture B had the people putting the paper in the bin and sort of encouraging the other person to do that. That was to do with peer pressure, which was what was going on in picture B. Number 4 was E. What they were talking about there was people skipping classes. She was saying her friends Alonso and Ana never go to class. So that one put the picture E. And number 5, the person that spoke about it being difficult to pass all these subjects and do well, and failing exams was a big problem. So that went with picture C. Okay, so if you mark your work, correct it in red if you didn't get it right, and then move on to the next bit. And this will help you understand what you were listening to, because this is a transcript when the thing finishes. There we go. So it says leer. Now look at the transcript of what you just heard. And I want you please to find the words of the phrases numbers 1 to 6. So here we are, 1 to 6. What do these mean? Hay mucha violencia, sufrimos, integrarse, hacer novillos, el mayor problema, suspender los exámenes. Those 6 there. So I'm going to pause, you pause the video, work out what those mean, write them in your book, please, English and Spanish, so you've got both written down. And in a moment, I will put the corrections up. Okay, so assuming you paused and you did the work and you've got the answers, let's have a look at them. I think they come up all in one go, actually, if they'll work. There we go. So, hay mucha violencia. Violencia is feminine, so that if there's a lot of it, it's mucha. I made a mistake there with presión yesterday, and it's easily done, but you need to keep an eye on it. So, hay mucha violencia, there is lots of violence. Sufrimos, we suffer, from the verb sufrir. Integrarse, to integrate, to fit in. So people want to fit in with their mates, don't they? So if you've got someone who doesn't study, then maybe you don't either, because you want to fit in with them. Hacer novillos is to skip school, to truant. El mayor problema is the biggest problem. Now you've seen comparatives when we were talking about teachers last week. We had the laziest, the most hardworking, the kindest, the fairest, the least, I don't know, the least pleasant or something. Mayor comes, it's the biggest. So el mayor problema is the biggest problem. Suspender los exámenes is to fail exams, and those were underlined, and you needed to find those. There's other vocabulary in there that if you go through this and spend some time just having a look at some of the other language here, we've got afectar a, so they affect other students, afectan a los estudiantes. Entre, between, there are violence between students. Sacar buenas notas, you have to know that phrase to get good grades. Sacar buenas notas. Triste is sad. Además, besides, hay que prepararse, you have to get yourself ready. That's a reflexive verb there, because if you preparar something on its own, you maybe preparar la cena, you can prepare dinner. But if you're preparing yourself, it's reflexive, prepararse. Nunca, there's your frequency expression meaning never. And over here we've got querer, they want, followed by an infinitive because they want to do something. Quieren integrarse. And that's again a reflexive verb because they want to sort of fit themselves into the group. Okay, so if you got all of those right, well done. And there's a lot of useful vocabulary there that can really enhance your writing and speaking. Moving on, where my computer decides to. No, it seems to have got stuck. Okay, so hopefully I only pressed it once. Now, you're going to need this text for the next couple of exercises. Okay, it says, at the top it says, lee el correo electrónico, with the email, identifica las fotos apropiadas del ejercicio 1. So it's asking you to do something there, but in fact we're going to do something slightly different, which is you'll need to have a look, you'll have to go backwards and forwards a little bit in the video here, because what I'd like you to do is read the text and then answer these questions. So what you probably want to do is write down the questions, or maybe take a photo of this screen and then go back and refer to the text to do the finding out of what the answers are. So how's Carolina feeling? Why is she feeling like this? How is she preparing herself for next month's exam? What does her best friend do all the time at the moment? Who does Juan have to speak with and why? What kind of person is Juan? Does she think that his behavior is acceptable? Why not? I think, yes, it was the seven questions. So I'm going to say, take a picture of that or write them down. Then you need to go back to the previous slide. I'm going to do it more quickly this way. And you need to answer those questions. Okay, that's going to take you a few minutes. So I'm going to say, pause the video, do the task, and when you're ready, move on. Okay, so assuming you've now moved on, and these are the questions you were answering. So first one was, the question was, how is Carolina feeling? On 2 details. One, she hates school and she's very stressed is the second detail. Second question, why is she feeling like this? She has a lot of exams next month, and the worst is that she has to do a French speaking exam. Number 3, how is she preparing herself for next month's exam? She's preparing her speaking presentation after school every day. Número 4, what does her best friend do all the time at the moment? He has a new mobile and he records what's going on in the classroom and in the dining hall. Número 5, who does Juan have to speak to and why? He needs to speak to the head teacher because he recorded a fight between 2 boys. Número 6, what kind of person is Juan? He's quite kind and friendly. So 2 marks there for kind and friendly. And does Carolina think Juan's behavior is acceptable? No, she doesn't. Excuse me, she doesn't think it's right to record other people without their permission. That was sin pedir su permiso, was what we had there. Okay, so that was quite a lot of reading there and understanding what you were, also the details that you needed to extract and identify. 9 marks there at the bottom. It says, so give yourself a mark out of 9 for the ones that you got and recorded. Okay, now you're going to use the text again. So you will need to go back. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to help you out here a little bit. If I go back and just copy that and move another one down here. Okay, so here we are again with this slide. So with this slide again, and I will put it back up on the screen, or you can take a picture again and maybe on your iPad and look at it while you do the task. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Here's the task. So using this text, the text there in exercise 4, translate these sentences, please, into Spanish. So it's just changing things around a bit and using what Carolina wrote and adapting it for your own purposes. It's a weird typo there in the middle. Okay, so right, so those sentences, please use the text you already saw to translate those into Spanish. Pause the video when you're ready to start and then resume it when you have done the work. Okay, trying to move on. Right. So the first one was, I hate my school, I'm so stressed. Odio mi colegio, or you could have mi instituto, either is fine. Estoy tan estresada, or I would say estresada. If you're a boy, you would say estresado. You need to have estar because hopefully it's not a permanent characteristic of you. It's just a temporary problem that you're stressed. Hopefully stress isn't permanent. Número 2. This is next month I have to do a speaking presentation and it's not easy to revise. El mes que viene tengo que hacer una una presentación oral y no es fácil repasar. So remember that repasar, go over again, to revise. Número 3. Number 3 was, in my school, bullying is also a very serious problem. En mi colegio, el acoso escolar también es un problema muy serio. Número 4. People shouldn't intimidate or insult others. La gente. So la gente is the word for people in general. It's not you may say there are two sort of persons, but if you have la gente, so people generally are kind. People shouldn't do this. People in Spain, whatever. So if you're talking about people in general, it's la gente. And it's the conditional here. They shouldn't intimidate. No debería intimidar o insultar a los demás. Y número 5, that was, I'm quite a nice person, and in my opinion, we need to respect other people. Soy una persona bastante simpática. Y en mi opinión, necesitamos respetar a los demás. Maja is another way of saying quite nice. Y en mi opinión, necesitamos respetar a los demás. Now, notice that una persona is feminine, regardless of who you are. So if you're a man, you are una persona, because person is a feminine noun, regardless who it's applying to. Okay, well done. So we've done some reading, we've done some translating in both directions. And if this, I think the laptop is just overworked. There we are. Okay, so can you just please put a picture of those translations on the assignment so I can see the work that you've done, please? And again, what we're going to do is look at the objectives, see if we're on course here for doing what we need to do this week. We've used the vocab quite extensively today, describing school problems and pressures. We've done reading and writing tasks and translations today. And as you see, the next slide goes on to lesson 3. So clearly, this is the end of lesson 2. Thank you very much indeed, Year 10, for all your work. And I will see you in lesson 3. Adios.